Hello and welcome to Ms. Behavior. This is Colette, your host, going solo today. Kurt is hard at work, and we couldn't wait to get our favorite author to come talk to us, Erin Kaplan. Dr. Kaplan, congratulations and welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here today.
We were so excited by our conversation with you a few months ago when you were telling us about your dissertation, and then I got to sit through your defense, which was amazing. And now I've gotten my hands. I've said on the podcast a few times I wanted to get my dirty hands all over your dissertation, and now I'm almost at the end of chapter 4. And Erin, it's just fantastic.
Chapter 4 is so fun because it tells our story, right? Like the work we do matters. That's my thing about chapter 4 is those quotes. Like it could have been double the length. The things that the students said, like, did it make you feel like I knew my work mattered, but now a random student with a pseudonym is saying that my work matters to someone that they have no need to lie to?
I felt like I was getting such sage advice from these students. One of the things we're doing at my college this year is really being more intentional about finding partnership opportunities with students. And I feel like your dissertation. So let's tell everybody people who might be new to the podcast, what your dissertation is about and the qualitative nature of it.
Oh, sure. So I conducted a qualitative study on the connection between student conduct and sense of belonging, really to find out, does student conduct impact or influence sense of belonging, whether positively or negatively? And in my experience, people outside of the conduct world were kind of like, what? Why would student conduct do something good? Don't you just like yell at the students? But with my inner circle people, with student conduct professional friends, the name was actually the secret outcomes of the student conduct process because we all know what it can do. So I interviewed 17 students at I think 11 schools across the East Coast, north to south, all to the east of the Mississippi line. And it was a pretty even split between privates and publics. And I had a lot of different things. I had R1s, I might have had some IVs, that kind of thing. But all 4-year institutions, privates, publics, and 17 students shared their story for better or worse about how the student conduct process impacted their sense of belonging.
So, Erin, we didn't just find inspiration in this work, but we actually started a book club for the Misbehavior podcast that is going to happen on July 16th. And we already have lots of people registered. So if you're listening, there's still room to get in. It's called the Just Desserts and Dissertations Book Club, and we're reading Erin's dissertation. You can just click the link in the podcast information to register. It's free professional development, but I am reading it like a summer book right now. I actually find it kind of suspenseful. I'd promised myself I would only read 10 pages at a time, and I couldn't help myself from binging it.
That's very kind. You're making me want to read it. I mean, I've obviously read it, but like I haven't read chapter 1 through 5 once published all the way through. Maybe I should read it.
I think you should read it like a book. And we inserted into the beginning of the dissertation a little note that I had seen you gave a friend about which chapters you thought were the most interesting. I found the whole thing.
On that email,
So
anyone who signed up who reads, who receives the different dissertation will see that the first page Colette inserted is me saying what's interesting and what's not. That is real casual and unfiltered. But I think chapter 4 is really exciting. And then chapter 5 is like, wow, I'm inspired. What do I do now?
no spoilers.
Right. Well, chapter 5 is known as recommendations and what's next. So, like, if you're inspired by chapter 4, you're going to want to read 5. If you are not interested by what you read in 4, then I don't know, maybe don't read 5.
All my margin notes are my own version of chapter 5 of things I
Yeah.
want to do from what I've read. Just changes I want to make, things to look at a different way. Um, I think you should write a sequel and have your own model of student conduct, Erin. It's this the dissertation for me should be required reading for folks in our field.
Thanks, Colette. I will say for anyone who's thinking about doing this, it's really hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's really, really, really hard. And recently someone said to me, I don't really want to do it, but I wonder if it'll give me job advancement. And I just said, like, unless you really want to do it, you shouldn't do it because it's really hard. But at the same time, if anyone's like, I don't know about research, I've never done research, that was me, I would say how you'll pick your topic is it will find you. So I was really presenting about and writing about this topic for many, many years, right? Like I was in ASCA reflections in um October 2019, writing about what I called it was relationship building and rapport within the conduct process. And I wrote about two students at a previous institution who had really significant conduct outcomes and needed to leave the residence halls and things like that, and how we developed really good relationships and how they both graduated with just such success stories after all that, right? And like people were interested in that. So then for many years, I was presenting at ASCA and regional and local student affairs conferences on educational sanctions that really are relationship based. So I was seeing this before my eyes, and colleagues said, like, oh, yeah, I tried this, it worked, it didn't work. So when it was time to pick a topic, I knew I was really interested in sense of belonging. And I don't wanna say they said it couldn't be done, but and I don't really know who the "they" is, but certainly, like, it hadn't been done before, right? And that's the thing, like, when people say, like, "We're so glad you finally did this," like, I don't feel groundbreaking, I more feel like, "Why didn't we have someone do this sooner," right? Um,
Mhm.
because retention, with the enrollment cliff and mental health and the inflation and finances and all of the things, there's just been so much research on, high impact practices. And we all know that like living in the residence halls, positive outcomes, attending orientation, having a job on campus, going abroad, all of those things. And on some levels, I understand why no one looked at conduct, right? It's a negative
Mhm.
thing and you didn't sign up for it. But I know a lot of our colleagues in the field say it's sacred work, it's intimate work, those private conversations. Like, why would we not give those things a chance to hold on to students and really pull them in? So I would just say if you're nerding out about something, if you write about it, if you present about it, if you're talking about it on all of your ASCA Zooms, like that's how you know you have a topic when you can't stop talking about it and you want to use it to tell a story. So it really found me in that way. And I'm glad that people are feeling like it is a valuable contribution to the field.
We need to get it into people's hands. I think it could have profound impacts on what they see as priorities in their work. Especially in the summertime is that's when folks do a lot of their strategic thinking and code updates. I just think scholarship should be an important kind of keystone to that work.
And you're
And
making me think about just like the idea of back to basics. Like I know you and I have been in the field a long time, you longer than me. I don't want to pretend I have as much wisdom as you, but I know you and I are two people who were always looking up theories and refreshing ourselves and things like that. And just this idea of going back to basics, and I don't just mean in student conduct, but in any part of the student development world, like going to grad school isn't enough. Having the credential isn't enough. Like, we need to be inspired by me having really good conversations with students and going to conferences and doing our own version of continuing ed, even if it's not for the credits, on like just a small, like, I don't even want to say teaser, but like a small nugget from the dissertation. This is just like a really basic example and something that's free for schools to do. Is I know you and I'm starting my 14th academic year in student conduct. And I know that number is small compared to yours. But even so, like we're like seasons, right?
mhm,
I know we both still use a script and that the script isn't the part that, reminds us like I introduced myself, they introduce like it says that, but I know like the real thing with the script is like you and I remind ourselves, um, you know, ask them how they are. How do they feel about today? How is the college experience? And it's like a sandwich, right? Like the rapport building, then we do the tough stuff. And then, like, wow, like, you said you're connected to such and such office. Do they know you're going through all that kind of stuff? And I say this to say, I know I can't speak for you, but I can say for me, like at every institution I've worked at where I've had a staff, where I've had hearing officers, there's always someone who is like, but why do I need to do that? I don't want to do that. Like, whether they're like, I'm not really social. I don't want to try to get to know them, or I don't think they want to get to know me, or like they're there for business and I want to support the business transactional. And I know you and I are both like, no, it matters. No, it matters. It matters. It matters. It matters. We've been doing this forever and we're still doing that stuff. I feel like this made the case for why things like that are
Yes.
so important. And so many of these suggestions, as per the dissertation, are free, right? You can be the most under resourced school in the world. I've worked at some very, very, very under resourced institutions. So I know about free. So I think it's just a reminder, like whether you're new in the field, whether you're old in the field, like that Maslow, and that's on the dissertation, but Maslow's basic hierarchy of needs, making people feel seen, making them feel heard, like no matter what kind of college you're at, a community college that's very open enrollment, a selective institution like an IB, like those things of like treating people, the back to basics. Like we're not diving into like, so were you drinking? Like that stuff matters so much. It will always matter. And with the enrollment cliff and everything, like it matters even more.
And, every step of the process, every step requires that same analysis is what I walked away with, and, the before and the after part are just as important as what happens in the meeting with the student. Just making sure we have meetings with students. I feel like we're giving some secrets away here, so, again, I would love more people to join our conversation on July 16th for the Just Desserts and
Yes.
Dissertations
Can
book
I say
club.
one small thing that I think needs to be said?
Yes.
If anyone's like, well, of course they're happy about it. There were great interviews and you must have talked to people who liked conduct. Spoiler alert, there is a mix. Not every student had good experiences. They didn't. So I feel like, and I said this on my defense, I think the most important stories we tell are actually those whose experience needs an improvement. So this is not just feel good. You're not going to read it and say, "Oh, we're not having all these feel goods at my school. Like this isn't making me feel." It's realistic. There's good experiences and there's experiences that can be improved upon, just like on all of our campuses.
When I read those stories, and those students' quotes, like, you start picturing some of your own students that just did not feel connected, did not feel cared about, and how hard that work is, like, you can tell. I think there's so much work that needs to be done there. I'm sure chapter 5 talks quite a bit I'm just predicting that, that work with the disengaged is so important. Erin, what are you most excited about now that you're finished? How are you just feeling mentally, physically
Yeah,
since finishing?
I'm asked this a lot, and it's such a hard question because I'm like, I don't have a good answer. But in the interest of like authenticity, I had some life stuff that got, put on hold. So like my younger sister had a baby and I didn't get to meet her baby until they were a month old because I was like, I have to get through the defense. And like she understood that. So it was like great to like 7 days after the defense, I was holding the baby, right? And then like I was doing edits for a week or 2, and then I did my graduation, and that was really exciting, and some people know I transferred programs. Myself and a classmate who became close in our previous program, we transferred out together. Anyway, I was able to fly from my hooding to her hooding, where, like, we started together, we're ending together, and while I was visiting her on her campus, I was hosted by my friends in the conduct office, so, like, some of the exciting stuff just happened. And then, like, we had our graduation at the college I work at, and, like, that was exciting, and now it's summer, and I'm hoping, I'm getting back. I've always been a big reader, but now I have time to read a little more, trying to get back into like the gym and 8 hours of sleep. Like this basic need self-care stuff
Mm.
is so important. And visiting some friends from college throughout the summer, like things like that. Like I really want to take it slow this semester. Like when people are like, what are you going to write next? What are you going to research next? Like, I need a break. I will definitely apply to present this at the ASCA annual conference. But I just want to get back to being a normal person, as in someone with a job, not someone who has a job and is full time in school and has all the other things. Like I'm exploring taking it slow, normalcy, self care. I really mean that.
You deserve that. I have a couple things I wanted to make sure. This might feel a little disjointed, but I wanted to make sure I said I wanted to dispel any myths about how reading scholarship is, boring or confusing. Your work is easy to read, and it really feels compelling to me as I read it, and I hope others would. The other thing is, I know we have folks that also have done that gauntlet that you're talking about of the scholarly work, and we want to make this book club a club that goes on. And so if you have a dissertation out there that you'd like us to consider for the book club, I hope that you'll uh, contact Ms. Behavior so that
Yeah.
we could consider it, because all this hard work, we need to make our field better, and I think it starts with the scholarship.
And just a quick thing with what Colette said, I completely agree. It's not boring. How I knew I was really ready was I couldn't stop reading people's dissertations and then looking up who they had cited and like wanting to know more and add more. And um, a fun fact about me is one of my primary hobbies is reading dissertations for fun. So I think I read 39 or 40 this academic year. So if that doesn't tell you they're not boring, I don't know what does.
You know what? With Kurt not here, I feel like I have to speak for him. The most exciting part of reading dissertations for him is going straight to the bibliography at the end or the works cited to see like, oh, what else can I read? And I love
Yes.
that.
Yes, it's really cool.
Yeah. But once in a while you see a name, you're like, I know that person. And that's just sort of like a fame adjacent feeling.
Oh, totally. I had 6 or 7 people I cited were on my defense, and I don't wanna say that they're not famous scholars. I don't wanna diminish their work. They're people I personally know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't like Terrell Strayhorn, the sense of belonging theory person, like, he was not on, right? But, like, several, ASCA folks I've looked up to for many, many years, the dean of students at my undergrad, things like that, like, 6 or 7 people I cited were on, and, like, what a full circle moment. I've looked up to professionally and academically forever, and your work actually influenced mine, and you chose to come and hear me talk about that. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's so
I'm
fun.
such a fangirl of Valerie Glassman that when I saw her at the defense, like, oh my gosh, I'm in the same Zoom room.
Yeah, she was on my committee, so also a fangirl and also like, wow, yeah, to have someone like that on your committee. And it's just so funny. My current supervisor, his dissertation laid the groundwork for her dissertation. This is long before I'm involved with them, but he writes a dissertation. She like cold calls him during COVID or something, lockdown when Zoom was brand new, picked his brain, cited his, built off of his, and then he hires me. And then she says, I'll be on your committee and just, they're on the Zoom together. Isn't that so cool?
Call it like total full circle,
Really,
the
really.
universe working its magic. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
All right, Erin, I feel like I'm taking away from some of your summertime, but I just wanted to make sure we got you on. We've been talking about it for a while, waiting for you to defend so we could get our hands on you.
Thank you so much for your support. You definitely are one of the friends listed in the dedication section, which you must know by now from reading it. But our our student conduct colleagues carried me through. Like I feel like people lifted me in the air and carried me literally. It was very hard. And you were one of those people. And I'm just so thankful that our field has you as a cheerleader.
Likewise, my friend. It's a good family to be in, and you are my conduct sister. All right, listeners, sign up, and we hope to see you on July 16th. Ms. Behavior is written and produced by Colette Shaw and Kurt Doan. Theme music was written and performed by Kevin MacLeod from incompetech.com. You can contact Ms. Behavior at msbehaviorcollege@gmail.com. That's msbehaviorcollege@gmail.com.